Hello and welcome back, folks. The new Casio LF-20W was first released in the middle of May of this year in the United States, and only those who were quick on the draw have been able to get their hands on one, as they were getting sold out as soon as stocks arrived. I was able to get mine from the UK Casio website, where it recently landed, but presently only the black colourway is available. Now that I've had this watch and used it for a few days, I can give you a full review and also share my opinions on it. When the specs for the watch was first released, my initial thoughts was that it was going to be too small. With a width of 33.7mm, it was even smaller than the F91W, which has a width of over 35mm. However, it does wear larger on the wrist due to the square shape. The weight is almost identical to the F91W at 23 grams, and when worn, it feels extremely light and comfortable. Casio have also managed to keep the thickness of the watch down, coming in at 8.6mm, making it one of their thinnest watches, although it's still not as thin as my vintage FS03. The USP for the LF-20W is the LCA or liquid crystal analog display. Although it's a re-release of the original AE20W from the 1980s, they've subtly redesigned it for the 21st century. Gone are the original's colourful printed graphics and twin graph logos. Instead, they've chosen to release it in 5 different colourways for the fun factor and the fashion conscious. In keeping in line with that, I think it looks better in one of the other colours aside from the black. Being an LCA display watch, the only other competitor that I can think of is the Timex Q reissue. Although I do like the look of the Timex, it retails for 5 times the price of the LF-20W and is not as nearly as feature packed. So let's take a look at the features next. Let's start off with the display, which is divided into 4 sections. The biggest panel shows an analog clock representation of the home time. The circular panel next to it is a graphic display that's divided into 10 sections and shows an animation of the seconds ticking. The bottom panel shows the digital display of the home time, but can also be set to show the dual time from one of 48 pre-programmed cities. The remaining panel shows the day and date, but if you have world time selected, it will display the name of the city whose time is being displayed in the bottom panel. The world time is probably my favourite feature for the watch. You can choose to display the time from 48 different cities or 31 different time zones from around the world. In doing so, the current time in your home city is still displayed, so you know what's going on back home when travelling. Another option that you have with the world time is that you can select it to scroll through the times in 4 different cities, which is a nice touch. No. The next mode is the alarm. You can choose to set up to 5 different alarms, which can run daily or for one time only. The alarm sound that you get does seem to be louder than in some other Casios, but I'll let you be the judge of that. A countdown timer is the next function, and this can be set from 1 second to 24 hours. A stopwatch is the final function, and this is accurate for up to 1/100th of a second, and it also includes split time to show first and second place. No. For the backlight, Casio have equipped the watch with a single amber LED. Although not as bright as the latest super illuminator technology found in some G-Shocks, you can set the duration to stay on for up to 3 seconds. Let's talk about the strap now, which is said to be made from renewable plant-based materials. When compared to the F91W, it does feel a little softer. It is though quite long in comparison, but you can push the keeper quite high to keep the overhanging length at bay. While it's on the wrist, time to check out some wrist shots. Most Casio owners will be familiar with the fact that the straps on their watches do perish over time and may become brittle or perish. Thankfully, the watch comes equipped with standard spring bar connectors rather than pins or some other proprietary connector. For instance, my FS03 comes with a proprietary rubber connector that's almost impossible to replace. Finally, let's talk about the backplate. This is made of steel with a vertical brush finishing and is held down by 4 screws. Although water resistant, the lack of a bar marker makes it unsuitable for swimming with. And now for a bonus. The original AE20W came with a hidden demo mode which would animate the display when the correct button combination was pressed. This watch doesn't come with that, but you can activate the display test by pressing the bottom 2 and the top left button at the same time. Scroll through the test by pressing the bottom right button. This should eventually take you out of the test and back to the home screen. The downsides of the watch now, and there are a couple which I'd like to draw your attention to. For some hoping for a one-to-one remake of the original may find the lack of printed graphics disappointing. However, I quite like the clean aesthetic of the face, making it suitable for a modern reinterpretation. The water resistance rating has also been dropped from the original's 50 meter. The display is viewed better when tilted slightly rather than face on, and I would have liked to have seen a slightly thicker hands on the analog display. There are also some line markers at the base of the display to show if you have the alarm or hourly signal turned on, and these are completely hidden when the watch is tilted. In conclusion, these are minor downsides and don't detract from the appeal of the watch for me. The inclusion of world time and the fun aesthetic means it's going to be a suitable companion for a vacation. Thanks for watching, folks. Let me know if you agree with my findings, and I'll catch you next time.